We owe the freedom we enjoy today to our ancestors who fought and died for us during the First World War. Some of the more unlikely heroes of this terrible conflict were the footballers of the time, who also bravely joined up and went off to war. Every football team was affected, and many joined what became known as the Footballers' Battalion. After war broke out in 1914, the weekly football match was seen as an important way of boosting morale on the home front. But when it became obvious the war was not going to be over by Christmas, Britain's fit young footballers were encouraged to join up and do their bit. At the front, football offered a welcome distraction to the horrors of war for troops missing home. At the Battle of the Somme, soldiers followed a ball kicked from the trenches over the top. Football produced its fair share of heroes. Bradford Park Avenue player Donald Bell was awarded the Victoria Cross, but sadly lost his life just days later. And the first black British outfield player in England's top division also became the first black combat officer in the British Army. Tottenham and Northampton's Walter Tull lost his life in March 1980. The women left behind also had a massive impact on the story of football in the First World War. This is how women's football first became popular, as women took on traditional male roles in factories, farms and forests, so they also took on the role of footballers. After their shifts, women staged their own football matches, often in front of huge crowds of thousands of people, and kept the flame of football burning during our country's darkest hour. It will be 100 years before the women's game would be as popular again. Almost every team in the league today sent players to the front between 1914 and 1918, and some never returned. Today's squads will never forget the heroes of the past.
Hi, I'm John Stones, a defender for Manchester City and England. Today we've been planting 14 trees to remember the players that played for England and served in the First World War. These footballers were so brave and sacrificed so much for our futures. Help us create a national woodland memorial to football in the First World War by planting trees. Text WOODS, ENG, to 70025 to donate £5.